Thank you very much. Guys, welcome to the stream, everybody. Really anxious tonight. Really, it's going to be an event, I can tell you. Look at me, all suit up and everything. I mean, holy shit. So, tonight, as promised, as you all know, we have the actual real third GM on our side, obviously, that has killed Kitty. This is actual truth. I did not say that. Alexi, you said it. I would not go that way. Popcoin, my very good friend, Popcoin. I'm really happy to have him since he actually helped OK to kill Katie. I've grown a little relationship with him. We're having so much fun. We're having Dark Rift. Thank you for the 2 months. We're having so much fun together. Sometimes we just talk on Discord for hours actually, and it's just so hilarious, so fun. I really like the guy. So I'm really happy to have him. He's gonna talk to us about his guild, his whole World of Warcraft experience and everything. Look at him, he's already there, he's sitting. God damn, it's big a tournament, look at this. Oh, and he has the Atish as well. We're gonna talk about that, the Atish, of course. We're gonna talk about, you know, everything that went through in Dark Reign, so on and so forth. Really an exciting night. I really can't wait to go into details. So without further ado, let's welcome Popcoin, my friend. How are you doing? Hey, wait. Last week, wait a second. Last week I got meme. Okay, I did not ask Ole last week, like for the, do you have something to drink, and so on and so forth. So that you all saw what he did, right? He went under the table, got a glass of wine, and got the fucking mustache and the beret, and he almost got us with a baguette. So this won't happen again. Popcoin, do you have something to drink right now? Man, let's have a toast for this night. Let's have a good proper toast. Cheers to you. I am not broadcasting Discord. God damn it. What is this? This is a scuff stream. Like, from the beginning, this is a scuff stream. Yeah, we can only hear me. Yeah, I know. Okay, so, scuff stream from the beginning. Pop, we'll transition, because I'm actually not a good streamer, so we'll transition directly. Pop. Cheers. Oh my god, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh, shit, cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for having.
It's a fucking pleasure, man, to have you tonight. I'm really excited. Really anxious to go over all of this. So, nobody heard you. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, man, I'm doing really great. I hope people can hear me now. Really excited to be here, mate. Really excited to be here. Just before we start, I wanted to give some shout out to first of all Dark Reign guildies that are coming here to support me. Cheers, guys. And also to a couple of my RL mates that I don't know if they're here, probably not, because it's some nerdy ass shit up in here. But GK boys, thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting. And before we start the interview, I wanted to also give a shout out to the guild. Okay, I think they're not going to be taking part of these interviews, of course. But it's sad that they're not getting that. So guys from OK, massive work to Arcane, DressXing, Peeper. It's amazing what these lot managed to achieve after the break. Obviously, or well, rather after losing 2 raid leaders, a couple of officers during AQ. I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be the end of them, but they managed. So as far as I think I'm concerned, they've completed the game. So good job, guys. Cheers to that.
Hey, I'll cheer to that as well. I was part of OK. Great bunch of people. Okay, Pipa, he puts fucking Coke in his wine, so I don't know about him. Personally, I wouldn't vouch for the guy, but all the rest are really good. Pipa, that's for you.
So yeah, great job on that. But yeah, can start with the rest.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. I'm sure they are pleased with that. So, without further, first of all, what is that background? Can you please explain to us what is this background?
Oh well, I don't know. I think it's pretty needless to say. If you can see over here, this is the 100 pass of my performance, as well as my absolute top here. I understand that it's probably quite painful for you to watch these numbers, as yourself have never reached these kind of heights. But as they say, watch and learn, son.
Yeah. Nice one. Okay, without further ado, talk to us a little bit about you. Did you play Classic? I really doubt that you play Vanilla. Excuse me. I really doubt that you play Vanilla. Knowing you,
let me just head back to my default background. Welcome to no, so I've not played much of Classic, at least. I have actually experienced it because I played a little bit on my friend's brother accounts. So I'm 23 years old. So when Classic came out, I would have been probably 7 or 8, give or take. So I've run around a little bit. I really wanted to start playing properly, but I couldn't because there was quite a lot of issues. Like I didn't have a PC, and there was a big bit of language barrier as well, because the game was only available in English then.
Okay.
And I'm originally from Russia, so I didn't actually speak English back then. So it was not properly until Wrath of the Lich King where I was able to actually play properly, which is where I think I started to play on a good level, or well, I don't know if good, but on a level where I got fucking hooked to the game.
Can I just, man, your English is top notch today. I mean, I've known you for a while, and it's actually not long ago that I knew you were actually Russian. I wouldn't not have known if it was not for someone telling me. Probably grab fate, he's a snitch like that. So I would not have known. You have English accent, like really props to you my man.
Let me just start off by saying that's a complete false accusation of grab fate or lost fate. Top quality fella right there, I can tell you that much. No, but to be honest, yeah, thank you for that. I'm just, I don't know, I'm quite good at picking up accents and stuff. So, but lucky though. I mean, I'd rather that than a thick ass Russian accent like one of those fellas from.
Hey, listen, I got my phone now. My wife, I'm sorry, but she's saying his English is better than yours. Thank you,
Right,
thank you, wife.
Better passes, better language. I don't know what else we can compare, really. I think there's only one other thing for men, and you'll lose that too.
Okay, so you did not play. You didn't barely played vanilla. Did you play classic, like the recent expansion, BFA?
Retail,
Say what?
retail, you mean? Yeah.
Retail, yes.
Yeah. So I've played properly. I've played from Wrath of the Lich King. I played Cataclysm. I quit in Pandaria and I came back in Legion. So I've played quite a lot of Legion and BFA. I've done a little bit of. I've done some Mythic keys, a little bit of Mythic raiding, but I wasn't a huge fan of that. I played a bit of private servers as well in the meanwhile, mostly Wrath of the Lich King. So actually, up until probably I don't know 2-3 weeks before the launch of Classic, I thought, man, that looks. Well, to be honest, I was one of them haters, and I thought it's never going to take off. Like people don't know what they want. It's going to drop off after a couple of weeks. And about a week before it came out, I started watching hype YouTube videos, and I was like, "Shit, mate, this looks pretty insane. I gotta give it a go. I have to try." And here we are.
Because maybe it's me, but in classic today it's mostly dads, right? I mean, it's I think, and again, this is me, no shame on anything. I think it's pretty rare to have young people, 20, 23, 25 years old, play that game because they did not play vanilla. They're actually more into retail, fast pace, fast game, etc. Whereas vanilla classic is more of longer. It takes more time, to accomplish stuff. So I'm pretty impressed when I see young people like yourself actually trying and sticking because you've been playing right from the get-go. If I can, if I remember right, you were there from really the beginning of the server.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So first day it rolled out, I went out.
So yeah, cool.
Yeah. No, it's actually quite true though. To be fair, I think in Dark Reign, and I think most other guilds as well. I would probably want to say that the average age of people are between probably 30 and 35, maybe around there. In our guild in particular, there are a couple of people 25 onwards, but 25 under, I think there's maybe 2, 3 tops. It's really not that many. I think, obviously, to me, playing Classic is a little bit. Well, it's not at all really. It's not really nostalgic, but because when I did play, so end of TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, the game feels very similar in a lot of senses. Especially if you compare it to retail, because obviously it's a completely different game now. So that part of me is in fact nostalgic. The same quests, similar abilities on classes, and different mentality for sure. So yeah.
How did you come to choose PvE server over a PvP? What was why? So why going with a PvE server and why chose Mirage-Raceway at the beginning?
Yeah. So to be quite honest, as I said, before starting to play Classic, I didn't really have much expectations for the game itself. So by no means did I think that it's gonna, we're gonna be sitting here almost, a year and a half later talking about it. I thought it was going to be at most half. So to me personally, I didn't really care where we started to play at all. So initially the plan was to play with a couple of my friends on Gehennas, so PvP server.
Yeah. A pretty well-known server, right? It's #1, I think, server in EU even, right?
Yeah, you have some pretty big names there. But honestly, I'm so thankful I actually didn't start there, because I think I would have been long gone by now. But yes, a couple of my friends, they wanted to start there, but then the group of friends that I used to play retail with, they wanted to start on PvE servers.
Okay.
And they've set on picking Pywood Village as the place to start, because we were looking for a place which is more kind of distributed between Horde and Alliance.
Okay.
Pirate Village, we believe to have something like that. And I've created 10 characters, reserved some pretty great names, still have them. Hit me up if you're interested.
What is great
Uh,
names? What is great names for you?
Great names. So I think I have Economy there as well, which I think is a fantastic name, right, to be honest with you. I also have a Mirage-Raceway.
Okay.
So my name there as well, Popcoin, of course. I actually have Pop as well, I think, which is something I really wanted, and a few others. But yeah, so we were set to start there, and then 2 days before the launch, they're like, okay, we're playing in Mirage Raceway. So I'm like, fuck, because all of these names are then going to be gone because obviously Mirage Raceway was announced. If you remember, you could reserve names a couple of days before. So it was a very last minute decision, and to be honest, to me, it didn't really matter that much, just because, as I said, I don't really have much expectations of Classic at all.
Okay. So you end up on Raceway, right? You came with some of your friends, you said.
That's right.
What did you wanted to do? Like you came here with your friends, level 1. What is the goal? What do we want to do? Why?
Honestly, it was just to see what the hype, like, to me at least personally, it was to see what the hype is about. I never really thought that shit. I'm gonna be raiding. I'm gonna be trying to push the numbers, the meters, because, well,
The
to be honest,
100 parses that we saw earlier, right?
yeah, for sure, for sure. I personally, I don't know if I would have even gone with a druid in particular if I knew which was the end goal. It's just to kind of experience things, but definitely wanted to hit 60 though. That was definitely the goal. Maybe try out some raiding, but it was such a far-fetched goal that we didn't really plan. And to be honest, of the initial friendship group that we started with, I was the only one to reach 60 at the time.
Okay.
So I think it's a pretty standard story that a lot of people start with their friends and then suddenly most of them quit by the time it's 30, 40. It's such a slow phase, if you will.
It is. It is. Okay. So you started your character. You chose a druid. A druid. Your ugly big torrent that we see right there. I'm sorry, I don't like torrents, but to each his own. Why choose a torrent? Why choose a druid? Sorry. Did you play druid in retail back then, or you wanted to try a new character?
So I did actually play a little bit of druid, but honestly, when I played in classic or vanilla vow, I didn't really play. So I did create a druid. I did create a warrior.
Okay.
I got to maybe level 3 on my brother's friend's account, and that's about as far as that's gone. But in Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, and retail up until that's up until that point, I always play druid, so it's something that I really enjoyed. I did read a little bit about it. Tauren, of course, the question. Tauren Night Elf. So my friends really wanted to play Shaman, so
okay.
I didn't really have a choice. Yeah, and everywhere red. It's absolute fucking garbage. For healing, for DPS. Tanking was a little bit better, but still. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna go in because I know what I'm doing, and I'm gonna try to prove them wrong. And I think I did, to be honest. So yeah, that's why the class and race selection.
How did you level from 1 to 60? Are you the type of guy that does questing, or you the type of guy that does dungeon?
So I think at the beginning I did a little bit of everything, to be fair. Especially at the very beginning, because since we're such a large friendship group, we were able to do dungeons quite easily. So, the first couple of dungeons definitely were the way we leveled. So a couple of times in each even. But as the time went on, so I think about level 30, I want to say, is when I started. Like only one guy was left from the friendship group. The rest were either super far behind or they kind of played 2 days a week kind of thing, which didn't satisfy my needs. I guess I don't know. So then it was kind of getting a bit more difficult with dungeons, even though a lot of people were spamming dungeons in LFG, and actually just I don't know why, but I've kept a lot of these people added to my the reason why is because obviously you kind of want to add good people. Yeah, so I've added them to my in-game friend list, right? As because I leveled as feral actually, not as healer.
Okay.
So I was mostly adding healers and tanks to my friend groups. And to this day, there's actually 3 people on that list who are still playing, and I've added them all the way back. And a lot of these people, if they still are playing, they either become class leaders, officers, or GMs because of, I guess, I don't know. I guess just the amount of the time they actually spend into the game and stuff. So one of them is Valkyr actually in Titans. I don't actually think he's a rank of some sorts, and a couple of guys from RIP. They're still the ones that are around, basically.
So since phase 1, where you level with them, you are still playing. They are still playing. That's really nice, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that they probably have no idea that I have them added or anything like that because I don't really speak to them. They probably don't even know who the hell I am, really. But I just kept it because I don't know why. To be honest, it just I thought it's interesting.
You said something interesting. So you were a group of friends. Obviously, you never played classic vanilla. Was there someone in your group of friends that was kind of a leader and that actually played vanilla, that was leading the group, or all of you didn't have a fucking clue of what you were getting yourself into?
Yeah. So there was about. Okay. I mean, okay. I'm just gonna take away people that quit before level 5. Because there's quite a few of them as well. So there were about seven people or so past level 5, and 3 or 4 of these guys they were older, so they have played it before.
Okay.
So for example, one of them him and I, he actually quit level 54, which I think that's like, come on,
6 level. Oh, shit.
6 levels. He was playing a mage, and he knew all about AoE grinding and how it works out, and so. Yeah, because of that, I had a much better idea of exactly what I'm doing because I wasn't really following a guide or anything, but he was kind of a good indication of where should we be leveling for more efficiency and stuff. So
okay, let's dive into Dark Reign, creation of Dark Reign. Were you there?
Yeah.
What do you remember of the creation of Dark Reign?
Yeah, so I guess it should be started with the fact that no, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when it was created. I wasn't there for a little bit of time. So I actually ended up joining Dark Reign when I was about level 20, 22, 23 maybe or something.
Okay.
So the guild then had a completely different leadership. So the GM was called Skull Nova. I don't think anybody outside of the guild would probably remember the name. But actually, I did get in contact with him a while ago, and he did kind of elaborate on the history of the guild itself. So the guild was created originally in 2004, I think, or 2005. And it was a PvP guild in Classic. So the name origin, which is something I was interested in, let down. He just thought it sounded horde-like, so okay, sure.
Okay.
Nothing special there, unfortunately. But yeah, the name was actually featured in quite a few LAN tournaments of that era. So it was called the Rag Factory. That was it, and they were hosting LAN tournament. They were sponsored, anywhere between 40 and 250 people. So it was actually quite a big organization in that sense.
I think this is a big feat because remember back in 2004, 2005, I mean, being sponsored as a esport player, I mean, it was definitely not what it is today. So it was even, way more difficult and stuff. So I think there's something there, quite a feat, from my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I mean, it was obviously very different times if you think about it. So, so yeah, it's pretty cool. But what I personally don't like doing is, and I see some people do that, advertise the guild as if that, when it was actually established and how it's run. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, yeah, we were established in 2003, 2004." But I don't really feel right doing that because, to be quite honest, I actually don't think there's any people left from that time. So, and the guild, what it stood for initially, is probably quite a lot different than the direction that my officer team and I took it now. So, it's just an entirely different. It's just an entirely different thing, really, isn't it? So.
It's really interesting though to know that a lot of the guild on our server and probably everywhere dates back from this era, the vanilla era. It's always fun for me to see.
Yeah.
So you join at level 24. So okay, let's slowly start to go into the first raid and stuff. But just before, do you remember? Do you have any funny story while leveling with your friends, maybe? Because I know they're watching right now. They're talking about you on the chat. So, do you have any funny story to say while leveling with your group of friends and everything?
First of all, hello guys. Long time no see. Yeah, to be honest, what's in general from leveling on classic, because I came from retail at the time, which is just a ginormous transition, really. I thought that the whole process and the whole sort of community side of things was very very different. Like I really liked it because if you were there at the launch, you log in and there's genuinely hundreds of players there. And one of the things that moved me a little bit is the whole waiting for the first boss to be killed. Because you couldn't do it in a raid, so you literally had a physical line of people queuing up to actually get it.
So you actually witness and taking part of those line of people to turn in a quest or to pick up a quest.
Yeah, so it wasn't actually picking up or turning in. It was so I started as a torrent. Luckily, there really weren't that many torrents compared to the troll and orc area, so Durator. But it was the last boss at the higher up mob in the starter area that you have to kill, and it's obviously a unique mob, right? So you can only do it in a party of 5. So you had people queuing up and doing it in a very very orderly fashion for a launch, and I thought that was fucking incredible. So many people, and it kind of just managed itself, and I don't know, I just find that really cool, and it's not something you'll ever see on retail.
I did not pick up classic right at the beginning. I didn't even know it was a thing. I came in a little bit late, so I see. I mean, everybody that follow a little bit classic, the Reddit, the classic Reddit and everything, will see pictures from phase 1 where those lines were just fucking enormous, man. And it actually for me it represents classic. So being part of it, even though it would have sucked to be to wait in line an hour to kill a mob or to turn a quest or so forth and so on, would have pretty much fucking suck. It's still part of the classic indie, like they call and stuff. So pretty cool that you participated in that.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, I got to be completely honest with you, mate. Like, it was an incredible experience to be a part of. But would I really want to take a part of it again? Not at all. Because, you go out in Morgor and all the fucking mobs are You know, it's taking so long to level because everybody's on it. So it's a cool experience, but once again, you know, not something that you realistically want to experience more than once. I think. So yeah, uh, you didn't miss out too much, honestly.
TPC is coming. Wait.
But I think they're to be honest. I think they're gonna have multiple servers.
I just hope. I know we're. This is not the topic, but I just hope they're not gonna fucking layer on us. Personally, I don't like layers. I'd rather fight. Just activate the PvP everywhere. I will kill all you fuckers. I have no problem with that, but no layers. That's my take on it. Okay, let's.
I'll quote you on that later because you're gonna be begging.
Yeah, you'll be the first fucking one that I will kill. Okay.
Actually,
what?
What? We're playing Horde, bruv. What are you talking?
I don't care. Okay.
All right, but I did actually just want to mention one thing that I thought was a pretty random experience during leveling as well. So my mates and I, we had an in-game chat in-game to obviously to talk between each other if we're outside of the party or something, right? So you know the custom chat, right? And as I said, you know, we used it quite extensively throughout leveling, up until the point where we didn't at all, up until my last mate quit. So, you know, I didn't use the chat.
So it was a channel or it was private message?
It's like a channel in game. You know, like you do /join channel name.
Yeah.
So we had a channel name like that, and I just never left it. You know, it's after all of my mates quit, it's not used, so you don't really notice it usually. And I think I'm not 100% sure exactly when that was, if it was an MC or Black Lair, but I log in one day and I see a lot of chatter in this channel. So I'm like, what the fuck are these people? You know, like what's going on here, right? And what it turned out to be was it was a bunch of people transferring from another realm who also used the same channel name as we did, and they transferred as a friendship group over, which I thought was honestly the most random thing. Some people may have seen them around. It's a guy who used to call me Milk Me Daddy, which I thought fucking odd, you know, but I was like, okay, sure. Krago gets. So since they joined, you know, we really did become actually friends. We even have each other on Facebook now. It's the most random coincidence ever, but those boys live on. Yeah, man. New friendship when the other ones left.
Craig, who is in the chat, so he was waiting for it. Okay.
My man.
What was the preparation done before your first raid ever in Dark Reign? I know you were not part of the management at that point, but I'm sure you were involved in the guild preparation, if there was one. So how did you guys tackle? Let's get to MC.
Yeah, so okay, so to be honest, I think it's a little bit of a tricky question because we had multiple first raids in that sense, okay? So it was phase one. Nobody's stepped foot in Molten Core at the time. And at the time, as I said, the GM was called Skull Nova. And the ideology of the guild was a bit strange. So, you know, the whole point of it was to go semi-hardcore. And they set out a date for when they wanted to go into Molten Core first, because a lot of the officers at the time, so it was KP, Skull Nova, Glacius, Lorak, I think, Ivagora, probably names that don't ring a bell to anyone. But so they set out a specific date for the first Molten Core raid because they themselves wanted to take it a bit easier.
Okay.
And we, of course, had some cutting edge players who wanted to rush ahead and do the Molten Core as soon as possible. So what ended up happening is one of the officers called Moz, the warrior, he organized a first ever Molten Core pug or run, actually, to be honest. So it was organized by Dark Reign. but I believe we only had about 5 to 10 people in it. So I personally wasn't in it myself. I've seen the aftermath of it online, you know, but I wasn't in the actual raid. And so, yep, so they organized it. However, the problem was that they did not let the GM know, right? So the GM did not know about that at all, about that organization of that run. They obviously set a date to have a official run themselves. So it was a Dark Reign organized pug that the GM and the co-leader had no idea, right? And to be honest, I'm going to give it to Moz right here. It was actually very well. It was very well led. So they actually managed to kill 8 bosses. So they got up until Major Domo, and they got a couple of wipes there. They didn't get through, but honestly, for the first ever pug on the server, I think that's brilliant. You know, I think that's really good.
I have to ask why. Why do not let the GM and the co-GM know?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what was going on through their heads. I think they knew that it wouldn't be allowed, right? But the way I would have done it is I just don't call it the guild names run, you know, because and what's funny is that you know, we had a question to the GM at the time who went out with his wife, so he wasn't actually online during that event at all, right? His wife, he found out just before the run, and his wife asked him, who's also a WoW player, all right, what's the worst thing that can happen in this run? And he said, the worst thing that can happen in this run is if a binding drops. And the binding So first ever Horde run of Molten Core, the binding dropped. It goes to the raid leader at the time, Moz. We've already had it set out that Glacius, who's one of the officers at the time, was meant to be the main tank of the guild, the guy who was taking the bindings. But obviously that changed up completely everything. So from there on, some serious drama came over because the GM got home. There was massive shouting in the guild chat. He was obviously unhappy about it. He was getting spammed up on his nights out about the binding, about the run.
What class was he playing?
He was playing a mage.
Okay.
He was playing a mage. So I would have been around level 50 then, so just underneath the limit. The run had a lot of level 55s as well, I think. Point being is he started shouting at people. He prohibited any more runs from happening until the set out date. And of course, what it does is about 15 to 20 people, cutting edge people, our best guys, leave the guild, right? Which was already looking pretty fucking rip. You know, some of the officers leave, some of these 60s leave. Our binding, of course, guy with the binding leaves, which is already an ideal start to the game. And yeah, they went on to create a guild called Awesome People Welcome, and that didn't last long, probably because of the name, I'm guessing. And they went on to form Omen. I don't know if you've maybe seen it before yourself.
I did, yes.
So Omen was formed from those people from Dark Reign.
Okay. You stayed in Dark Reign?
I stayed in Dark Reign because, to be honest, I didn't particularly think that it was actually going to survive, but I just I wanted to see it through. I still had some levels to go before I had to start getting worried about my gear and core. But what this whole event started, is the downward spiral for the GM and the officers at the time, because I think about 2 to 3 weeks after that, they were dropping out from the game one by one, mainly because they didn't enjoy the start of it, how it already started dramatically. Some of the people left, so you know it was only going to be more difficult from that point onwards.
I can understand if you're starting a game that you know that takes not a part of you, but you know, when you get involved in World of Warcraft, exactly. It counts for a lot. So if your start of the game is shit, yeah, probably expedite the fact that fuck this game, I'm going elsewhere, I have better things to do. So I can understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where so you said you were level around 50. Were you so you were not part of that first run, were you?
Uh, no, I was
Okay.
not a part of that. So mostly because I was waiting so much for my mate to start leveling, and then he just fucking quit. So
So it's
uh,
okay.
like, complete fucking time waste, really.
You hear that, guys? You made him waste his time. Time is
Thanks,
money,
boy.
friend. Okay, so when did you start joining the MC run? And how was it back then? Was it a one night clear, a two night clear? Uh,
Yeah, no. So
I already, I already don't like your expression.
yeah, no, no. So, but the problem is, you have to see it from this perspective. The guild where your top half, or what top, but your better players at the time move on. Realistically, you'd think, okay, these guys are fucking done for. This is going to be as far as that gets. But we had a guy take over. His name was Tula, and one of the officers from before actually stayed over as well.
So he took over the GM role.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. So at the time, he was newly appointed raid leader / officer. So 2 weeks into the new job, he was the GM.
Okay.
And I was quite familiar with the guy because we used to do a few dungeons together, a few dungeon runs. So just before the first MC run, I offered my services as an officer, which he accepted. So before our first ever run happened, I was already an officer in Dark.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't until probably a month after the whole event where we actually started the MC itself, because we were waiting for our guys to start leveling. And the first actual run as well, it was quite a lot of pugs in it as well, who actually ended up joining the guild later on. But it was a fucking mess, to be quite honest with you. On the first ever reset, we actually did end up getting to Major Domo. It wasn't the first day. It was I think we were raiding Saturday and Sunday at the time, so
Okay.
it would have been the result of 2 days. And so yeah, the preparation was absolutely not there at all. We were minimum prepared. A lot of us were under level 60s, no gear at all. To be honest, we did do quite a lot of UBRS runs to try to match people together to synergize them into playing into a 40-man raid. So I think that helped a lot, especially was our tanks, who was Dark Rift at the time, and Tula.
Okay.
And actually a guy called Sheldon as well. Our other tank at the time was still leveling. So yeah, we got to Domo. We ran out of quintessences, and we thought, fuck it, we're not going back in until next week, basically, because nobody did reputation back then. So that was our first week of proper raiding.
So Dark Rift was a thing back then?
That's right. Yep.
Chris. Okay, so at the time this was full Dark Reign runs, or you were still pugging?
Yeah, no. So we still had. To be honest, I couldn't tell you the exact numbers, but our first ever run featured probably, I want to say, up to 10 pugs. To be honest,
10.
It was a lot of new.
Okay.
Give or take, but
Yeah.
the thing is, though, we had in these people. I don't know if you guys are in chat. We had Kay, Ash, Softy, Dave, Dodgy Dave. A couple of other guys as well who weren't in the guild yet, but after that run, they enjoyed it, and they ended up joining the guild on the next reset. I actually remember Softy, who I want to say, yeah, I think you were feral already. I'm not sure. I think you were feral already. I think you did a bit of tanking, and he is our main tank now, actually, feral main tank, Pog. But at the time, he showed some good initiative, and we really wanted for him to join us because we only had 3 tanks at the time, I think. And we were really scared that he wanted to come and join us as a wrestler. So we really didn't want that. And he was taking his sweet time to decide. So we're like, shit, how can we get this guy in? But then he came to us, I think, after the second run. And said, I want to join. Fuck.
I mean, guys, Softy, fellow streamer, go see his channel. Really cool guy. He has such a nice voice. I actually don't watch him because I fucking fall asleep when I watch him because of his voice. But really cool guy. Go watch him. Shout out to Sof. What was the? What was the? Once you all clear, your cat is.
Yeah, no,
What I just from the chat, your cat is named Seb.
Sebastian. Yeah.
Sebastian. Okay.
Yeah. Awful. Awful.
So after having everything on farm, what was the goal? Just keep farming MC until BWL hits, or were did you guys try? Because our last 2 guests, they were, as you pretty much know, I'm sure, they were into speed running, trying to improve, and so on and so forth. So what was Dark Reign's position back then? What?
Yeah, no. So it was a very different mentality, I think. Of course, needless to say, and still to this day, we don't speed run. That's not. I think our ideology in general is to clear content in a good time, and have a good time whilst doing that. Really. So, execution is what we essentially try to focus on. So just make it clean, basically. Right. And at the time, we knew that we had a really late start to Molten Core due to the shenanigans with Skullno, the old GM. So our goal was to try and prepare as much as we can for the later phase of there, and try to show the server what we can achieve really when we put our mind to it. And I have to say that there was a huge difference between when we actually started Molten Core and we were getting ready to Blackman Lair, because by that time the community of Dark Reign has been built, and it was a lot more of a community feeling. It was a united guild at the time, unlike the sort of uncertainty of whether it's going to go on before Molten Core.
Someone in the chat said execution. Dark Rift, I think, said in the chat execution. So that was your, let's say, your main focus throughout, not only MC, but I'm guessing throughout all of the Dark Reign existence up to this day, right?
That's right. That's correct.
Perfect. Anything you want to add? Any funny moments that you want to add from that MC experience, that whole MC grind and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can't say there was the most exciting, I suppose, grind out there. It was, I mean, I personally hated the place because it's just a bloody. I mean, there's not much to it, but I did have a think about it, and I did find a clip.
Oh, a clip.
Nice. A Twitch clip, from our main tank, beloved Softy. I believe I'm actually not 100% sure. You'd have to check from the clip itself. It was maybe a DMF week, and the point of this week was to pump. So I'm gonna link it to you now, so you can show the guys what's up.
Alright, now I'm gonna. Wait on. Wait. There we go. Are we back? Yes, we're back. Okay, so let me just skip the sound. Inception, guys. Wait a second. Inception right here. So we're looking at. Let's watch the clip, Pop, and then after you can comment on it, right? Because we don't see you.
Yeah.
So let's watch the clip.
Awesome.
Well, let's see if I can not insta die this week with World Buffs. That'd be nice.
So that was on the way to Molten Core. You should have sound on, by the way.
Sound is on.
Oh, fuck. Jesus H. Christ. Fucking died falling down the thing. Right, BRB.
Yeah, so
oh my god. Poor Sophie.
I could elaborate on what happened, but I think it's pretty obvious. So what happened was he clearly didn't pay attention to where he was running. I don't know. I didn't hear the audio, but
he said Jesus H fucking Christ, a dad falling.
no, but just before that, he went on to say, I hope I don't die on the first mob pack, and you know how things go there. It looks like my character.
The first thing that actually struck me on that video is like Softy is looking all young. If you watch him every week, like on that video, he looked like 10 years younger than what he looks like today. This may be the lockdown effect. I'm sorry, Softy. I'm sorry.
Why do you have to disrespect that?
I love Softy. I'm sorry.
I'll give it to Softy. You know, he looks very young for his age, I think. So you know, he's almost your age, Azuma, and you know he looks
better than me. That's what.
I didn't say that, but you know.
He does. He have the long hair and everything. I mean, look at me. he has the long hair. Like, holy shit.
But it another meme of the time then, and it's something that went on to be one nowadays. Really, is one of our other tanks. He made a very interesting mistake. So from Onyxia questline, the neck piece for the tanks is actually best in slot until Anchorage. So that was phase 1, and the name of the guy is Baz the tank. Hello, mate, if you're listening. So he went to pick a completely wrong trinket from the questline, which of course is not refundable. He tried very hard with Blizzard, but it was a big fuck up. So still nowadays, we still use the term bazzing it up, which means fucking it up, obviously. So that's one of the things that we stuck by until phase 6 even. So
that's fucking awesome. Baz being one of my Scarab Lord brothers. We'll talk about him a little bit more later. Blackwing Lair. What was the preparation for Blackwing Lair? How did you guys, freshly out of phase the Molten Core raid, going into BWL, did you prepare anything? What did you want to achieve? So on and so forth.
Yeah, so as I said, the goals for Blackwing Lair was a lot different to Molten Core, because of course initially the goal was just to to go in and actually be able to complete content, which we just weren't sure about at the time, due to massive strains on the guild before the first raid even. So for Black Roulette, the goal was to completely clear all content available on the very first reset. We weren't going to do the midnight raid because it is, as you said, a dad guild. But you know, I understand. So people can't always go and join 12 a.m. raids, obviously.
We're not all 23 years old, right?
Exactly. So unfortunately not. Yeah, no. So we waited until our first actual raid day, but there was a lot of preparation in terms of loot. So there was a lot of discussions for the priorities. The big items like DFT was discussed. Countless hours of discussion. I'm sure a lot of guilds have a similar scenario there. In terms of tactics, I got to give credit to Tula, the GM at the time. He put a lot of time in writing it out. Taking screenshots on retail to show us exactly what we were going to do. To be honest, I do have to give quite a lot of credit to Tula in general, because I think it's due to his leadership we were able to accomplish what we have in Black Roulette by getting it down as much as we did. I remember at the time, working with him, he put almost 15 hours of preparation to Firemore. Because Firemore at the time was a boss where a lot of guilds struggled on, but we actually breezed through it very, very easily just because of that particular preparation.
Was it a one-shot?
It was a one-shot.
Okay.
It was a one-shot Firemore. So yeah, really massive press to that guy, honestly. We did, on the other hand, struggle with Razor. So we actually wiped countless times on it and on launch. So
First boss.
First boss, that's right.
Okay. What was do you remember what was the issue back then?
So we weren't quite sure what tactic to go with, because there was the original tactic of spreading around the room trying to pick off the ads, and there was obviously the tactic of going to the to the platform on the left and doing it from there. So we were trying a little bit of both of them, and it just wasn't working out, man. It was and actually, to think about it, the weeks the coming up weeks, we really struggled. We really struggled to get a perfect execution there. We'd always have people dying with world buffs there, and it was a long while until we actually got it down perfectly. Yeah.
You mentioned something, world buff. Was it something mandatory back then? Even for MC BWR, was it mandatory? What was the rule in Dark Reign about world buff and consumes back then?
Yeah, so to be honest, we were quite prepared as a guild in terms of consumables for tanks, in terms of greater fire protection potions, right? Because at the time, I think it was, myself as a healer, you only really had a mana pot, the flask I think you had as well. But, there wasn't Mage Blood, there wasn't a weapon enchanter or anything like that. The mana oil, of course. So it actually required very minimal preparation, but all our tanks, we had proper fire resistance gear. Of course, the potions, of course, as well. So, in terms of that, world buffs weren't mandatory. And to be quite honest with you, they still aren't mandatory in our rates, because they are highly wanted, I suppose, and recommended, but they aren't, they aren't mandatory. So if you don't have world buffs, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get a raid spot. But it does mean that we are most likely to take another person who did actually put in the effort to do it.
World buff is always a touchy subject. I mean, depending on who you talk to. Yeah, it is. So, your first most difficult boss was Razor Gore, so the first boss of the instance. Did you
For sure.
what between for the later boss like Mag and Nef? Did you guys struggle on those boss, or it was kind of easy?
Yeah, so Veil Straz, at least in the first week, we one shot it all the way up until Chromagus,
Okay.
and we were going very slowly. That's the thing, right? So because our point was to just go slowly, learn it, not speak, just learn it. The technician packs the mages and stuff like that had a bit of issue, of course. But the point being is
but you still did all of that in the first week.
Mhm.
Which was that on the first night, or you took
So the first we took it all the way up to Chromagus. We didn't attempt Chromagus. We just got to it. The point was because Tula wanted to make sure that they kill all the trash before that, so we don't get any respawns.
Okay.
So that was the whole point of it. But it took us a long time, because we waited for 3 hours. So in 3 hours' time, we got to Chromagus and we left it for the next day. Even went over a little, actually. So then the next day, I think it was, I want to say Monday, we went in, and yeah, we cleared Chromagus one shot, I believe. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure if, I feel like we've wiped in the Tharian at least once, and then we got it or something like that. I don't think it was a one shot, but it could be wrong. But we got it in the end, so that was important to us to just get on the first reset and improve from there on.
Were you expecting to kill everything on the first reset?
I think so, yeah. I think expecting is, it's...
No, but I mean, this is where you put your bar, right? Are you actually? Let's go to the next question. Were you disappointed of killing everything on the first reset? Were you wanting to have something more difficult, or not? This is where, because everybody back then thought that the raids were not difficult enough. Was that the same mentality that you guys on, or you were pretty much happy with the current level of difficulty?
No, to be honest, I think we were quite happy with where we were, honestly. Because if you look back at the setup that we had, we didn't really have that many melee at all. So there weren't, it's not a raid full of brown warriors, rogues and stuff. There was a lot of casters, a lot of warlocks.
Okay.
So it was a suboptimal setup by the looks of nowadays, I suppose. So we were just really happy with the fact that we managed to, really, because a lot of guilds didn't at the time, and to be quite honest, I had the guild had quite a lot of applicants joining later on in the phase because of how fast we managed to progress through it. And in comparison to phase 1, where Molten Core, we weren't really anywhere for that. So it's us kind of emerging more on the server charts from kind of being nowhere, really. So we were very happy with that at the time.
Did you add every Oni cloak done for the first Nef kit? Or you had to use the cheat way, or just people dying?
No. So we actually had no death to it. So we were prepared, mate. We were prepared.
That's pretty good.
It was unlike nowadays. Was with
do you have people dying on Nef nowadays?
Well, we don't run it as official guild.
Yeah, it's a bug, right?
Yeah. We've not been running that for a couple of weeks as well. But mate, you go in there and the main tank, who is from the guild, no name mentioning here, forgetting the cloak. That's a big move. That's a big. So cleared it when it was difficult, if you will, and then coming back in there later and dying to it. It's like, come on, boys. Step it up.
No name, but they know who they are, right? let's say.
They know. They know. They know. It's 1 of 4. So.
It's 1 of 4. Anything funny you remember from the BWL era of Dark Reign?
Yeah. So to be honest, there was we used to have a member of the guild, a warlock, and his name was is Liz, and the guy wasn't always able to raid with us because during the weekdays he's a truck driver from Denmark.
Okay.
Right. And quite frequently in the actual raids, he used to join the Discord to just listen in, have a little bit of banter mid raid, that sort of thing. And a couple of times he joined in and he asked what's dropped, and if it's something big, something we've been waiting for, he'd honk his like truck driver horn, which was like very very loud, just the most random thing in the world, which I used to find that hilarious. I thought that was so funny. So that was quite nice. We also had a very very interesting character in the guild, whose name I'm probably not going to disclose here, but it was a hunter, and the guy was quite selfish. I got to be honest. He didn't want to do stuff that wasn't good for him, basically. So due to that is we used to run mandatory ZG runs after Black Ring Lair. So that was phase 3 actually.
Yes. When ZG came out?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So there were a couple of times where he just have a certain excuse for not being there. And one of the times he actually did end up joining. He was AFK at the beginning of the dungeon for the first hour. And when he got back, he didn't say anything to anyone about it. And when he got back, his excuse was, "Oh, sorry, man, I was taking a shit."
He was saying so he was literally saying I was taking a shit for an hour.
Yeah.
Constipation much? I'm just saying.
Mate, I don't know what the reason was. Luckily he's not in the guild anymore. So he went on to play Alliance actually, because his reputation was actually quite bad on the Horde side. So
Okay.
So yeah, that was a bit of a... But yeah, anyways, I think the biggest event in phase 2 was a slight change in the guild. A change that hasn't been unfamiliar to Dark Reign at the time, which was our guild master leaving us.
Oh. Wait. So second guildmaster said, "I'm going to leave."
That's correct.
Shit.
That's right.
Okay.
So yeah, as I said, not something that we haven't dealt with before. But basically, so I was an officer at the time in the guild, of course, and obviously I was quite close to Tula, who was the GM at the time. So it's not, it's something that he let me know about a little while before, obviously, any public announcements. To be honest, I know that a lot of people in the guilds, they do actually genuinely hate on that decision. But honestly, I spoke to the guy quite a lot, and he was saying that being in that position really affects him mentally, and at the time I didn't really, I didn't really fully understand it like that. So of course I was quite salty about it, because what ended up happening is himself, one other officer, and a couple of our better players actually ended up transferring to Pirate Village.
Okay.
Mostly due to sort of lack of other options on guild-wise on Mirage-Raceway, which is fine, I guess. So they ended up transferring, and obviously a massive blow for the guild at the time. But I understood it. I really did. But now, because that's after that is when I became a GM myself. So that was I want to say maybe March something like that. To be honest, it's about a year now actually. Now a year later, I think I really do understand it a lot more than I ever have in the past, because it's a very draining position to be in, especially with the way Classic is, with 40 people being there. I think it really can be an awful place if you're not enjoying what you're doing and things get to you. So as much as I do understand that it was a really garbage thing to happen at the time, and I fully do understand why people also quite hate on it, I actually do get where he's coming from, basically.
Sadly, I have to agree with you. It's a taxing game. It's something you have to be involved. Even more if you're an officer, a GM, you have to be involved. If you're not involved, if you slack a little, it's not good, basically. Let's talk about you becoming. How was the transition? Actually, did you get nominated? Did he give you the reign without without making a wordplay here? How did the whole thing work?
Yeah, no. So it wasn't that clean. I think, to be honest. So what was really messy, I know that he's in the chat right now. AshX used to be a part of Dark Rain, officer team. Did a fair bit of work there, Ash. And so just before the whole sort of motion to letting me know that he's wanting to step down, Ash also went down to being a member instead of the officer. So at the time, the team consisted of myself, another person by the name of Tanking, absolute legend, one of the British lads, one other person, and the GM. And so the GM and the other person went off to transfer away, meaning that after that, it was only going to be myself and Tank in charge, so to say. So to make it a little bit simpler, because to be quite honest with you, I didn't know where the guild was going to go at that stage, because one of the better players, so one of our better warriors, best warrior at the time, as a matter of fact, a really, really good resto shaman and enhancement shaman and our main tank, they all quit. Well, several, they transferred away. So I was in big confusion as of to where we're going to go from there, because of course it's a massive blow to the guild to lose main tank, raid leader, guild leader. That's a significant loss right there. That's a lot of damage. So the other officer and I, Tank, we spoke and we're like, all right, mate, listen, this is going to be pretty rough, man. It's going to be pretty rough. And I didn't know what to do, to be honest. I thought, okay, I actually myself looked into transferring to Pinewood Village if it didn't work out at the time. I just didn't know. So him and I, we had that talk, and he's like, you know what, mate, we're going to fucking make it work. We're going to make it work. People will stick by. We're going to change up some rules. We're going to, change a few things in general. We're going to fucking stick with it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And on that talk then, I'm very thankful that he actually said those things, because I thought, shit, you're right, man. We're going to make it work. Fuck you. We've been through a lot already. We've lost GM before. It's not new to us. We're going to stick it together. And we did. So he was the co-GM. I became the GM then. We ended up promoting 2 more officers who are still officers to this day, Trieste and Dracolite boys. And things worked out, man. Look at us now. We've managed
quite well. I mean, let's not forget you're actually the third GM. There's a lot of guild. I mean, how many guild that have their GM quit and the guild folding? If you remember, Oli was talking about it last week. I mean, it is really, really difficult to when the GM quit to get out of that situation and thrive. And Dark Rain did it twice. So props to you, props to everybody that stuck in and put effort and so on and so forth. really resilience is the word I think here to remember. Resilience to everybody that was in Dark Reign from the beginning.
Yeah, honestly, thanks, Azuma, and genuinely, if there's any Dark Reign boys and girls in the chat, thank you all for sticking with us. It's been fucking lovely, boys. Of course.
So now, go finish.
But yeah, no, thanks a lot, guys, for deciding to actually stay with us and seeing it through. Obviously, succeeded more so than not. So that was really good.
We are going to go under the Popcoin era, AQ Nax, but right before my glass is empty. And I forgot to, usually I bring my bottle. I have a bottle here, but that's my bottle from last night where I wiped my raid actually. I need like 1 minute to go get myself some more wine and come back. I'll bring the bottle actually. So so you two as well? You're gonna go get more a refill?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So let's do that. Chat. I'm sorry. Usually we're more prepared than that. More prepared than that. But Popcoin as well. It needs a refill. So we'll go get the refill and we'll be right back.
For sure.
Actually, I got the bottle, so this will be way easier, right? Whoa! My old green screen is going away. What the fuck is going on right now? Oh, green screen is going away. The chair. You know, it's actually a good interview when you have to refill, right? We'll wait for. It was, right? It was. Of course, we're guys. I mean, who's going to? Of course, we're in lockdown. You really think? Really think? Popcoin's actually gone to buy another bottle.
Mate,
hey,
of course.
Hey, you have shorts as well. Seriously, you have shorts. God damn,
bro.
Man, we look at this. Shorts as well. This is this is lockdown, right? I mean,
mate, lockdown, dude. It's lockdown.
Fuck yeah.
Anything under the table goes, if you ask me.
Fuck yeah, man. This is lockdown. Hey, cheers, man.
Bro, I'm not that quick. Calm down, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is long. Oh, what are you drinking, actually?
Me? Just some white wine.
Wine is wine. I do not judge. Cheers,
man. It's actually quite nice. What is that?
Is it French?
No, actually. No, it's definitely not. It's Spanish.
Spanish.
I like Spanish wine. I think it's not bad.
You like Spanish wine? Hey, come on. Who's doing this? I will. Legend, keep it clean. Get off. Let's go. Thank you. People, I'm telling you. Okay, so let's talk about the Popcoin Rain AQ. My first question will be the opening of the gate. How did you guys approach? Did you participate in any way, shape, or form into the opening of the AQ gate? Did you grind Scarab Lord? I think so. We talked about it a little bit earlier, and everything that happened for the opening of the gates.
Yep. So we did actually grind for Scarab Lord. To the guildies that did, I want to say one word that I'm not going to elaborate to you. Peace, Blues. But yeah, we did grind the Scarab Lord. Baz is our Scarab Lord of the guild. But to be honest, the way I see it personally, for any guilds that did grind for Scarab Lord, it's a guild achievement. You know, it's not a personal achievement. It's a guild. It just goes to show that in the time where it's needed, the guild was able to unite to actually have that legendary achievement of a unique sort of time era of classic that will never be obtainable again. You know, able to see those special events that were scripted just for that particular event as well. I think that was a really cool experience.
Why did you guys chose to do it? What was the reason behind, and why Baz actually?
Yeah, so the way we had it set out is, first of all, we wanted to make sure that the person getting it is properly dedicated to get it. You know, it's not like, oh, I want it, okay, here you go. You know, let's farm for you at countless hours of farming. So we've actually asked people that were interested to send their applications to us. So we've actually had two. And Baz's one got selected, and he ended up writing a very nice piece on it, actually a Word document that I think it was almost 2,000 words or something like that. You know, so just from that alone, we can see that he really, really wanted it. You know, he has been talking about it in the past.
Do you still have that document?
I do have it in my Google Docs. Yeah,
Nice.
Of course.
Okay.
So you know it showed us the dedication that he had. So of course we couldn't not do it at the time, really. And of course it's a great symbol for the guild as well. As I said, it's very much a symbol of dedication, really. Although I cannot lie, and I can't say that, you know, we spend all these countless hours farming it without any motivation. So we did actually offer our members some of the EP, because we run EPGP loot system.
Okay.
So we did offer some of the more contributing members some awards, of course, you know, because you put in the work, you get an award. I think that's how it works.
I think it's fair game. Every guild did a little bit of contribution. There's no shame in that, of course. There's actually from the chat from Ivanka saying Scarab Lord did bring a lot of us together. How did you feel that? What?
So okay, to be honest, there's two things to it. First of all, I definitely agree with that. So it definitely did. It definitely did have that effect. However, I also felt that after the farm itself, you know, because it was hours and hours of bug grinding, which was, I mean, there was no black fun. So after that, it did leave an impact on the social side of the guild as well, that I think took a little bit of time to recover from, just because people got used to waking up in the morning, going to Scarab Lord events, you know, or Silithus rather, grinding it out hours, and then going off. I mean, that was people's daily routines, of course. So I feel like that did leave an impact of some sort. That took a while for people to start getting back into Discord and being properly social again after.
It's I don't have the word, but it is a difficult grind. Beside the grind, what is when did when I think about Scarab Lord, when you think about Scarab Lord, what's the first word that comes?
Grinds, man. Honestly, grind, dude. I thought, you know, what Ola said last week about breaking his mouse, because I'm a druid, obviously. So one of the better taggers. So I just bound my mouse to the Moonfire spam.
Yeah.
You know, it was free for all there. There was no honor in who tags what. So I think the people that got the best of it are the ones that knew how to control the spawn points better. You know, it was a time-taking event, man. You know yourself.
Yeah, I know myself. I'm a Scarab Lord as well. Baz, respect, my friend. You said it. I mean, for me, you're entirely right. If you control the spawn point, you control pretty much everything. Warlocks, I mean, fuck you, Warlocks during that grind, right? I have no other word. Then in second place was Druid and Shaman for the fastest tag, and then your MS to the game. It was basically came down to that. Cool. How did you prepare for AQ, the raid? What was the mentality? Knowing that this was your first raid as a GM, were you as well the raid leader? I think you had you have a raid leader, or anyway, someone helping you. So what was your preparation? What did you want to accomplish in AQ?
Yeah, so to be quite honest, so yeah, we did have and we still do have a raid leader. His name is Ulajar, Norwegian fellow with a funny name. So he was a raid leader back then as well. So our officer team, he actually just followed right now.
Ulajar. I was gonna say.
Right. So Ozu or Ulajar, mate. Hope you're having a lovely evening yourself. Yeah, no. So to be honest, the amount of prep we've done to AQ was clearly less than what I think we should have probably done initially. So the situation with loot was sorted out quite early on, but in terms of tactics and picking the right tactics, you know, that's something that we probably could have maybe looked at differently, because our progression in AQ took a lot longer than what we initially, which was a bit of a downer. We did actually end up losing some members in AQ as well, who joined towards the end of Black Millet. Two of the more notable fellas, the boys who really love to argue with the raid leader tactics, is Old Tom McLock and another fella, a little bit of a different scenario, but Grab Fate, Lost Fate. I know you were watching. No hard feelings though, but at least not for me. I'm not speaking on the behalf of Villager or one of our other officers. But yeah, we had some tension there. You know, we did go to retail AQ. To take quite a lot of screenshots to discuss how we're going to pull things and whatnot. But I think probably the area which we didn't put that much effort is into assignments, right? So it's always the whole fact of, oh, well, you assume people know, but they don't really, you know. I think that was the biggest mistake, and that's something that we've learned a lot from going to NAC, because AQ was the first content which we went into without Tula as a GM. So who was doing a lot of preparation at the time. So that was a very big difference there.
You remember the first time you went in? How far did you guys go?
So I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna say twins.
Okay.
I'm gonna say twins is probably as far as we got. we got absolutely destroyed by the Three Twins trash. Absolutely no doubt about that. Because it was very different kind of mobs. So of course it was not predictable of what the debuffs might be, and the whole meteor stacking, shadow ball stacking, the other ones moving away. To a lot of people that was a point of absolute confusion. So it took us quite a few weeks to get used to it. And I remember, going in there, and I think it was the second week of AQ. I'm like, man, are we ever going to get through this without losing a person to world buffs? And I thought the answer to that is absolutely.
On the trash mobs you're talking about?
Yeah, before twins.
Okay.
To be honest, I had a surprise coming for the twins themselves, because boy, did we struggle. But the pre-twins trash, that took us a while to master.
Let's keep twins for one moment. I'm actually surprised. Every guess I had so far has nothing to say about princess, which was, for me, for the guild I was in back then, Inferno, which was a pretty big issue because of the nature resist. How did you prepare? Did you one-shot her? Were you actually prepared for that fight?
To be honest, there was actually one of our biggest fears going into AQ, the nature resistance, because it was not only Princess Hoveran, it was also Vistas as well, that of course required nature resistance. To be honest, that was actually Hoveran herself was actually not that bad. I do remember losing quite a lot of people to soaking, right? Mostly probably can pin that maybe on healers, maybe on people putting a bit less gear. But we did have quite strict checks on nature resistance gear. And actually, if you remember, the hunter that brought up that was taking 1 hour shits during ZG. I mean, if it was only that with this guy, probably would have been fine. But he was very over the place. The guy had no idea, not reading discords, nothing like that. So a day before the set out deadline by us, which I think was a week before the release of AQ itself, he came to us and said, "Oh, what nature resistance?"
1 week before. 1 week before.
Yeah, exactly. No. Exactly. 1 week before. That's right. So that was very frustrating. But to be honest, that was just one rotten apple. I think every guild has some. Aside from that, most of the people, they were very much on point with their nature resistance, and really, really well done on getting that together.
So your first roadblock, twins. Talk to us about twins. I think there's quite a story behind it.
Yeah. So twins is the fight that has seen our guild lose both of the players that I mentioned, Altarm and McLock at the time.
so Altarm was on his Warlock at the time.
That's right.
And,
so McLock
was Grab Fate also on his Warlock?
No. So Grab Fate was playing in OK on his Warlock, and he was playing on his Warrior, his current main. The Roots from Dark Rain. So it was Warlock and Warrior at the time. Actually, as a matter of fact, I do believe that McLock, or I think as he's quite well known as McCock, was playing a priest in OK as well, because they had a different raiding days to us. So they do, obviously, I think it was Monday and Thursday. Yeah. So we were able to maintain that schedule for them. But the problem was that going into twins, we were switching up the strategy quite a lot in terms of where they should be positioned. So quite a few times, because we were failing miserably, like genuinely wipes after wipe. And to be quite honest, looking at it now, it wasn't really the positioning. It was the fact that melee were AoEing the bugs. Healers weren't 100% on point. It was switching between Warlock and the tank. It was multiple reasons, but we thought, we were convinced it was the positioning. That's what we needed changing and stuff like that. And the reason why we were convinced as well is because the likes of some people, they really like to argue with our raid leader, Ulajar, which was, to be honest, it was just uncalled for, and it just caused a lot more drama than it needed to. Really, it just made our jobs more difficult. So, to be honest, it was just not needed. Really, we were trying our thing. Admittedly, we weren't as prepared as we wanted to be, but it, it's really not helpful when raiders are trying to interrupt what you have to say, what you want to do mid-raid by saying, oh, well, actually, we do this in the other guild and it's way better. Well, this is not that guild. This is a different guild. We're going to try things the way we do them, and we're going to get it done eventually. We did. So it was a big point for us then.
There's always a way to bring up things. In terms of improvement, there's always a way to bring up things. And obviously, when you're a raid leader and someone comes to you saying you're doing shit, here's how you should do it. Of course, it's not the right way. So, guys, improving. I don't think this is the issue here. It's the way you bring it that is actually the issue. And I do feel you about it. I see that pattern coming over and over.
Honestly, I gotta be honest, right? So, because of those events, right? Because of those events with certain people, it's not just the ones that I mentioned. It's actually quite a few other people in the guild as well. I don't want to be singling out anybody here at all. It was quite several people in the guild. To be honest, there was a lack of discipline when it came to Discord during progression runs. So it's something that we really, really, really learned from. So, coming into next round's progression, we really made sure to, pop out those posts saying, guys, let's keep the Discord clear. I don't want anybody talking unless it's raid leader, one of the officers, maybe a class leader. If you have any feedback, raid chat. If you have any feedback, put it in the Discord appropriate channel after the raid, but not right now, because we're going to try this, and that's our plan. We're just going to proceed with it basically. So in a way, that actually really helps us going into next rammers, because we were already prepared for something like that happening in the future, which luckily didn't.
There's a time and place for everything, even for questioning some tactics and so on and so forth. I totally agree with you. Ketun, do you remember when you first killed everything, the whole instance? Was it really after the release of Phase 5?
What do you mean, sorry?
The first roadblock was Twin. Did you add that same roadblock with Ketun? Or Ketun was trivial?
No, to be honest, not at all. So, unless I remember it wrong, which I'm pretty sure I don't, I'm fairly certain it was a one-shot for us.
Okay.
So, the problem with Twins is that we weren't quite prepared for them to cause us that much issue as much as they did, because on paper, it's a bloody easy. Cthulhu is, I think, what any player from back in the day would agree was the biggest issue in AQ, because it required a lot more organization in terms of positioning, in terms of people doing their jobs right. More so on individual players rather than the guild as a whole. So because of that, we spent a lot of time preparing for the Cthulhu positioning. We had a spreadsheet for it, and we wanted to make sure that people knew exactly where they're standing, exactly how they're rotating, and because of that, we did actually manage to get them on one shot.
Was Viscidus a one shot, or you were struggling with it?
Yeah, so Viscidus is actually, to be honest, a bloody night. So it actually took us a very long time to get Viscidus. It took us a very long time, or a couple of weeks, until we did manage to get it down. Now the problem was initially we didn't have enough engineers for samples, right? So that was a problem for a while. What we started to do then is we started to bring in mage ults to come in and do damage to blobs, right?
AoE damage, I guess.
That's right, exactly. Whilst to be honest, in hindsight, it was probably not the absolute best way to look at it. It was more so spreading people to go to each of the corners rather than having three lance, I think. So that probably would have helped a lot. But it took us a long time to get Viscidus down. It took us a long time, and actually one time, and I think it could genuinely be the first time. Once again, I actually don't have that many memories from AQ because, to be honest, it was not the most exciting place. I don't really look forward to it. Like, okay. But one time we did bring in a couple of pugs for it because we went in to do on Wednesday to do AQ, so we cleared all the bosses aside from Vistas, and then on Sunday we went in to do Blackwing Lair, and we actually had some discussions with OK well to bring in a few of their members. I think it was 2 or 3. I definitely remember Freiburg. I think it was also IDK. I don't know. Who came in and helped us to kill Viscidus, and I actually think that was our first kill of Visk at the time. So thanks for that, boys. If you're around, I don't know. But from there on, I feel like getting the boss down once gives us that bit of confidence that okay, this is doable. This is so from there onwards, I think we were getting it consistently then.
Once you kill it once, you get the feel of it, and it's way more easier.
Exactly.
Unless you have anything else to add to that, probably the worst phase of AQ, phase 5, we're gonna move to next.
There's one thing. So it cannot be unmentioned. Unfortunately, I did not manage to get a clip of it. But it did take place on October 21st. I checked logs. Softy, our dearest friend.
Again. You don't have a log? You don't have a clip?
I don't have a clip, no. Unfortunately, clips don't go that far. So Softy is a very skilled individual. I gotta be honest, Softy, mate, you're top of the bloody world, to be honest, mate. Honestly. So being a druid, you're very versatile. So on Twins, the very same fight. To be honest, by that stage, we got the fight down to no problem. We're getting AQ clears quite rapidly to our, I suppose, standards. 1-9 clears, of course. So Softy was always helping out with healing the warlocks on Twins. That's right. And one of the times he just decided to be a little bit too helpful on that side. So he was the tank on the right hand side where I was healing as well, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to throw a couple of rejuves, a couple of regrowth on warlock. And next thing you know, he's hitting that key binding for the mana pot, and it's not there. Forgot his mana pot. And casting regrowth, of course, takes out your mana like no other. So of course there's no mana to go back to bear form. And the Twin switches and goes on him, and he gets absolutely one shot. Being in a mates. Honestly, no hard feelings, Softy. You learn the hard way. Azuma knows, I think. Void zones, throwback.
What is this?
But yeah, man, that was a funny experience.
Poor Softy. It's pretty funny though. Pretty funny. It was too much. That's the problem with healers. tunnel vision. You heal, you heal, you heal. You forgot everything else, and you die to stupid shit.
Exactly. You see, Softy. It's not that simple being a healer. Tunnel it overcomes, man.
Let's talk about Nax. Probably the why we are all here. Anyway, me. This is where I got to know really what was Dark Reign. A lot of you guys members, and so on and so forth. How did you approach Nax? What was your first time going there? What were you expecting, and so on?
Well, to be honest, we did we did have a pretty good idea that it's going to be the most difficult content that we're setting off. But myself, as a Wrath of the Lich King raider, you know, I've raided Naxxramas before, so I knew exactly what I'm going into in terms of tactics. So, you know, a lot of the bosses I've been a part of before. It wasn't something new to me. Unlike stuff like AQ, which I've never done before, so I didn't really know, you know, where we can expect fuck ups, where we can work to prevent that. In Naxxramas, that was no. So, and to prevent the mistake that we have done in AQ, we've done a lot of preparation for Nax. We've written out a lot of text documents for tactics that we're going to be doing. We've made a very extensive assignment spreadsheet that you've seen yourself. And yeah, we'll make sure that we're not repeating the mistakes of AQ. And of course, it took us a while to get down KT, no doubt. But you know, I personally would have probably wanted to get it down before 2021, but it was a challenge. It really was a challenge. So that was the difference in preparation. Really, it was hours and hours of work by myself and the officers and the raid leader put into the prep.
Before going to the KT fight, or actually now that you killed everything, what do you consider the most fun fight, if there's one, in Nax? For you, probably yourself as a druid healer.
Yeah, so to be honest, yeah, I think it's a very difficult question to answer from the raid perspective or the guild perspective, because naturally, you know, the fights are built to different enjoyment of different classes and specs, of course. But me personally, I really enjoy the movement fights. I'm a rested druid, so I'm a rejuice spammer. So I really like movement fights. So for example, I'm very proud to say that I have never died on Hagen to a dance. You know, I have died to it before because I got wiped out in the teleport room. But you know, I was able to do the dance, and to be honest, I have to say that last week I had to overcome a very interesting challenge, playing on a super garbage laptop that's running 15 FPS. So going into Hagen, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be a 100% death, but I survived. So to be honest, after that, I see absolutely zero excuse to, unless your internet's zero excuse to die at Hagen. So yeah, that's one of my favorite fights. And after that, I would have to say Four Horsemen as well, which is also very much a movement fight. So you're always, you know, you're always moving around, you're always living out the hots. So I personally really enjoyed those fights. Yeah.
And the worst fight for you?
The worst fight for me, I'm gonna say it from like a you know, guild leader, raid leader perspective. I think it's Patchwork, because Dark Reign, we've never managed to get that fight without whirl buffs. To be fair, we only had one attempt on it without whirl buffs.
Okay.
But the reason why I really hate it is because it usually tends to be the fight that we start with. So, and I know that if we somehow wipe on it, which has definitely happened before, it would be a nightmare for a week, right? So I always feel a little bit of pressure to actually make sure that the boss fight goes down really well, really clean. You know, no tanks die because tanks will world buff, instant threat loss to others. Instant DPS loss. So that's the fight I really dislike. Definitely after last week, KT, but I think you'll get to that as well.
My famous saying: "World buff are for women, children, and warriors." This is my famous saying. Which one of those bosses were the first real roadblock for Dark Reign? Was it Loteb or was it Four Horsemen?
I think I'm going to surprise you there, and it was none of these actually. I mean, to be honest, Lothar did cause quite a bit of issues at the beginning, but that's because it was quite early into Nax. The weak aura wasn't working properly for the healers because it is a healer fight,
Yes.
and it was actually Resuvius, right? So Resuvius was a big problem because it took us probably around 10 times or so to sort of make sure to get down the mind control sort of tactic, right? Now, of course, Resuvius is the boss fight where you're able to avoid death quite easily by escaping it, right? But if you think about it, if we didn't have those mechanics to be able to stand on top of on top of the wagon or go up go up, it would take a lot more time to recover from them. And it took us probably around 10 to 12 wipes to actually get those mind control mechanics down, really. So that was a big issue for us. Yeah.
So really, the issue was the mind control, because I know, back in OK, at the beginning it was an issue. It is still up to this day an issue. The mind control. It is a scuff mechanic, if I can say. So it was the same for you guys as well.
Yeah. It took a while. It took a while to get it, but it's the kind of thing with you get it down once, you know exactly what to do. So it's hard for yourself or me to say how easy the fight is because from outsider's perspective, yeah, well, it looks pretty easy, but it really isn't. Unless you're a priest mind controlling, it takes a while to get into that groove to actually get the positioning right, to get your positioning, the ad's positioning, and all that stuff. So I think yeah, logged out. But yeah, that took us a little bit of a time.
I cannot in good faith, I cannot talk about Nax without talking about the fact that you guys, Dark Reign, help OK for one of the clear. Can you explain the whole situation and why did you guys came to help us back then, to help OK back then? If you remember the context, let's say, because
no, of course. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. So, well, to be honest, so at the time being, I was quite close with quite a few of the OK members. So Arcane and I would be chatting quite a lot. So and we were bouncing back and forward some ideas how to improve the runs in general. So Dark Reign, we've decided to just take a break for Christmas. We have quite a lot of family members, dads and mothers, in the guild. So we did a little poll to see whether people would be able to raid or not. And we came back with some numbers, which is like we'd have to pug to complete it, which we could have done, but we thought, okay, you know what? Let's just give people a break. Additionally, we had a pretty bloody horrendous run before the Christmas break. So you know what? People deserve to take some time off. Just some time to unwind, to relax. And so yeah, so I was speaking to Arcane at the time, and she was she was seeing what our plans was, which I thought, we're not raiding, so it's not that big a deal. Are you able to potentially lend us a few of our members? And I thought, well, why not? Why not? We have our guys, who maybe didn't have families, including myself. I was available, so I thought, well, shit, why not come and help the guys out to do that? And of course, it was all done very fairly by the officer team of OK. In terms of loot. So I personally got away with getting a nice loot as well. I think the 6 people that joined the run, so it was Mezzy, Scugs, I think Frammy, Kay, and Softy.
Softy
I
was
think
there.
as well, yeah. So we ended up picking a little bit of loot as well, which I thought brilliantly done by the management of OK. It was all very fair. So we thought, well, why not help out? If we're available, we're not really doing a lot. So, and that was actually really a cool experience. That was a really cool experience to come in to a progression of a different guild. It was very interesting. But I do have to say one thing though. So that was the first night. I think we cleared 12 out of 15 at the time. So it was still December 2020. So we just would have gotten Gothic, and I think we broke off after that for the next run, which was consisting of 4 Horsemen, Saffron, and NKT. Of course. I was a part of it myself, so it was me, Kay, and Scugs who came on the second night to go for 4 Horsemen, Saffron, and of course KT, which Dark Crane at the time did not kill. So all 3 bosses was very new to me. I really enjoyed 4 Horsemen. As I said, movement fights are my favorites. But getting down to Saffron and KT, I felt really great about it. It was a really cool experience, as I said. But it didn't exactly feel like, because a lot of people say, yeah, you're down KT, and that's your classic experience, right? Like, to me personally, it didn't really feel that satisfying, because I knew that the guys that I killed it with, they weren't my guild. It wasn't the people that I've played with. So up until the point where we did actually manage to get KT, I didn't exactly get that satisfaction, and to me that was very important. Yeah. A very, very important experience, basically.
Really fair. I think you're entirely right on this point. To have followed you guys, to have watched Softy stream week after week, I can remember some of from Softy's side, right? I can remember some of when you guys killed 4 Horsemen the first time, when you guys killed Saphiron first time, and KT the first time. I'm guessing your first kill of KT, which was months ago, versus the first kill of KT in Dark Rain, which was 2 weeks ago. I'm guessing there's a huge difference in accomplishment, right? For you,
Yeah.
as an individual, and for you as a raid lead GM.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got our first KT kill 3 weeks ago, and so we a month ago, so 4 weeks ago, we did actually get down Saffron first time, which was done without world buffs, and genuinely, there's not that many guilds on the Horde side that can say the same. Okay, maybe at this stage, probably. But at the time, I think we were second or third guild to get Saffron without world buffs, which honestly, man, Saffron progression was one of the worst times. Honestly, like it was depressing, because it felt like we weren't ever gonna get through that stage, but of course we did. So, and not only did we do it, but we did it without world buffs, which is just so much better of an accomplishment. And I've noticed something that has been brought out to my attention by some of the guildies as well. When we do get the kill down, you know, like I just get so, like I get so excited, man. You know, the emotions just fucking pumping. You know, so I start like shouting and you know happiness and stuff. So certainly that was the case for both Saffron and KT, where I just you know I just you know it was just such pure joy and you know fantastic feeling of man you know it's just nowhere else I'd want to be than there right now. You know, very very emotional. Yeah.
Was there at any point, probably more during the SAF progress, because it lasted, I think, 3 weeks for you guys, if I'm not mistaken. Was there at any point that you felt as a raid lead GM, we're not gonna do it because people will leave, people, whatever the reason, did you felt those struggle, let's say, at one point and any time in those 3 weeks of progress?
To be honest, I didn't know what to expect going into next really, and we had this one raid that we don't speak about as it doesn't exist. You know, as far as we're concerned, we've not been there that Wednesday for 1 week. We've gone in and bloody hell, man, we wiped so much. We killed 2 bosses and necromers, which was absolute embarrassment to everybody, and everybody knew that. You know, we're garbage. It was such a downer. And then we went back in on Sunday, you know, and it was night and day, you know, night and day. You know, people concentrating so much, and you know, we got a lot of bosses down on that day after. But I definitely did have, you know, I definitely did have the feeling. It was like, well, okay, can we actually do this? Can we do it? And certainly during Saffron progression, I did get those feelings because it was banging your head against the wall. You know, the tactics aren't that difficult. You know, just hide and stay spread during the air phase, of course. And we'd wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe. You know, 10 wipes or something, and we wouldn't really get much closer. So I thought, bloody hell, can we actually do this? Because you know, there's not much more to this fight really. And then we went in the next reset, banged it out with no whirl bus, and haven't had a problem with it since. So it's such an instantaneous click that it just you know it happens just like that really.
How many times did you kill KT so far?
We've killed it twice so far.
Twice. Okay.
Sorry, do you mind quickly go to the loop before continuing?
Can you repeat that? Sorry, I did not.
The bathroom.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I will entertain our guest. He has such nice shorts. Did you guys see? It's actually red, white and red. No, calm down, Twiz. Calm down, okay? Calm down. All I'm gonna say. Be glad he doesn't have his wireless headset anymore. He has a shit mic, actually. He's been talking about getting a mic since I know him, like 3 months. And he hasn't getting it yet. Where is my wife? She's upstairs. She's been talking to me all this time long. I saw it and died. Tari. Yeah, he had the mic but got sent. I think his mic is currently stuck in custom or something like that. I did see Tari. Oh, you saw Tari? Did Tari actually do cam? I'm jealous now. I'm jealous. Prepare your question, guys, for Pop. Prepare them after the next topic. I'm going to take questions, so prepare them. Hey, welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Where were you? Yes, Katie. So you know exactly why I'm asking that. Why I asked that the question about how many times did you guys kill Katie? I was.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
go on.
I'm always, like I said, you guys raid on different days than actually Clan Wagon, so I have the chance of watching Softy, even though on Sundays I'm not supposed to. I always actually watch the people I like, and Softy and Dark Rain being one of them. I saw that last Sunday you guys struggle a lot with Katie. You did not kill Katie, so this is why I'm asking. So obviously, while you guys have killed it, it is still up to this day a struggle. I mean, it's not on farm, let's say. Knowing that,
Yep.
I was gonna ask, knowing that there's still improvement to be done, I think, on your side to really have a kill every week. What do you think is those improvements? And to every guild that is struggling nowadays to kill either Sephiroth and Katie, what would be your general advice as a raid leader? What is the big point to not miss on Katie to actually have a kill?
Yeah, no, so I think it's fair enough. Trick question, mate. I see what's going on here. So that's right. So we actually so we got KT down twice so far. So that's right. You know, it's not exactly on farm. I wouldn't really say we're not advertising. Then it's like some guilds. But I think yeah. I mean, the fight is very very tricky, and to be honest, you said the advice to other guilds that are not necessarily there yet is to it's very important not to get complacent, you know. So after you first clear, it's not that you're going to go in there the second time and it's going to get that much easier, because it really isn't. You know, just because you got it once or twice or even 3 times, it does not mean that you're going back into next rammers. You can start slacking on consumables. You can start slacking on world buffs, on your concentration. It does not mean that. And I think last week for us, for Dark Crane, showed that very thing. So, you know, we went in to get Felina, Grand Widow Felina, Maxner, Saffron, and KT. Those were the 4 bosses left. Obviously, the expectation was to go in and clear that up, like we did before. And we got all the way to KT, and we wiped on it, and we wiped many times on it again, you know, and it was a bloody awful experience. And I think it was an awful experience for everybody in the raid, because nobody enjoys wiping. So I really hope that it just goes to show that, you know, we really do need to bring our A game still. It's important to pay 100% attention to the tactics, to the usage of consumables. So guys, you know, if you're part of the guild that's not yet cleared Kel'Thuzad just yet, but about to. By the way, massive grass to the 3 guilds that just got it last week. Good job, guys. Please make sure to bring your absolute best to next still, because it's still the most difficult place in Classic, and you need to make sure to perform.
I think you said it best. Even though you've killed, I'm going to say something that I don't want to, but even that you have to respect the boss. Arcane used to say that every time. They didn't respect me, but they respect the boss. You need to keep focused. KT, even though you killed it a few times, is not a boss you can relax, chill back, leech, whatever, however you want to call it. You still have to keep focused to kill Sephiroth and KT. And you actually, it's sad, but you guys actually proved it last reset. I'm sure you are going to come back this week and kill everything, one shot everything. If
100%.
if anything that Dark Reign throughout Classic demonstrate is the word resilience, and I truly believe that you guys will do that as well this week, for sure.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's the plan, really. I'd like to think this week as of a little hiccup. So obviously this week onwards, you know, that's where we're going to perform to our proper standard and get it all down, really. And you know, get a cheeky 13 out of 15 on Wednesday, so tomorrow,
Nice.
and finish it off with an AQ40 on Sunday. That's the plan.
I think this is really the trick, right? If you're not clearing Nax in one night, which on our side few guilds do, I think only Consign do actually today. If you're not clearing Nax in one night, you're actually doing 13 out of 15 to come back to Saf, one-shot Saf with world buff, and go on KT on with world buff. I think this is the meta, right? Today?
Yeah, and to be honest, I think yourself wouldn't be too unfamiliar with our 13 out of 15 because
Yes.
time that you were guildless, you did come and help us out, which thanks for that, mate. We do really appreciate it. You know, so it's something that we have managed to do in the past, so there's absolutely no reason to not repeat that when people are concentrating 100% on it.
Exactly. And it was my pleasure. I mean, you guys came to help OK back then, and I even said on stream, whenever you want, whenever you need help, I will gladly miss an OK reset to come help you guys, which I did. Okay, I was guildless, but still, I came in. I didn't really care, even if I was on this with discussion and with other guilds to join. I didn't care. You were my top priority, number one, so no problem.
We appreciate that, mate.
What is next for Dark Reign? Do you guys have a plan for TBC?
Yeah, so definitely. Of course, TBC was announced quite recently, and it's something that we were expecting. We plan to do a few changes, I think, to the way our ideology is a little bit. Of course, we're still to get a date for TBC, so that's a little bit unclear. So at the moment, we do want to raid up until pre-patch. You know, we do plan to take a bit of break before, which I think guilds will do as well, just to have a fresh start in TBC. Come in and with a fresh mind to get grinding again, really. But we want to sort of improve the progression time that will be, I suppose, done by us, basically. So because of course the idea of TBC is going down from 40 men to 25 men, which is 50 men. So the way we see it is as an opportunity to build a team of players that's going to take us further up into really. Naturally, quite a few people are going to be quitting the game or stepping down to socials, which we respect and appreciate. But the fellas that are staying are going to be a part of the team, so only going to be running 125-man team, so no 50. Been through Classic already. 40 is plenty. But yeah, our plan is to approach it in a similar way in terms of preparation. I think it shows to our raiders that we can put a lot of time and effort into preparation. It's just whether the rest of the team is able to sort of comply with it, actually push through it, which I do 100% believe that we can.
Are you still going to keep the dad's mentality, saying 2 raid nights a week and really stick to that schedule? Because you've been sticking to that schedule. Even we were just talking about Saf and KT, the progress and everything. throughout all of this, never you got out of the rules of 2 days raid a week, which makes it, and I'm not inventing anything. Softate also says it in his stream, a dead guild, because you're only raiding twice a week. Is it something that you are going to keep, that mentality of we can accomplish everything with 2 raid days a week?
Yeah, to be honest, it's hard to say at the moment for TBC in particular. We probably will be sticking with the 2 raid nights a week. Of course, dad mentality. I mean, what is dad mentality really? I mean, a lot of the people in Classic, I think, are of the age of parents, as safe to say, and a lot of people don't have time to get on with WoW as much as myself, for example, do, or some other people. So we'll of course respect that, and we are most likely, as I said, going to be 2 raids a night sort of thing. But just because people can't necessarily commit the time to raid more than twice a week, it doesn't mean that the skill level is lower than those that can. Because yeah, TBC does give us a little bit of a choice to change up the team a little bit, to pick the people that we think will take us through TBC content in an appropriate time, and with the good execution, basically. Yeah.
There's no way, and I'm sorry if I did. There's no way, shape, or form the saying the dead guild is not a skilled guild. If anything, you prove the contrary, that even though you guys are only raiding twice a week, you can accomplish the same thing as any other guild. So it has nothing to do with the skill of the people. It actually has to do with how old you are, you're in real life, you have kids, like you said, and so on and so forth. It's the commitment to the game that is different, and it's really respectable today. For that, for myself. I'm 40 years old. This is probably, like you said, the average age of the player between 30 and 40 because of back in vanilla. So we all are at a different place in our life. So this, for me, what means to be in a dead guild, it has nothing to do with its skill or whatever. It's just the commitment that is different for some of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, swapping out from the term dad guild, what does that mean? Does that mean removing the players that are of, I suppose, older generation to get more youngsters? I mean, which I think I don't particularly think that TBC is going to see a lot more sort of younger generation people in it. So we're of course definitely looking to keep majority of our current players, if not all of them, really.
Probably the only reason why we would get younger players starting in TPC is the arena. That's probably the only reason I could think of.
Arena,
yeah, arenas, because of the TBC, because it's faster pace. That's what I think. Are you going?
Yeah, but if you think about it, right, like if most of the population are older generation, then surely naturally it's like for the whole of it.
I did not hear you. I'm sorry.
I said, because you're saying that what younger generation would have a cutting edge in arena, right? Because of the faster reactions.
No, saying they would be more inclined to play TBC. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Because for some people, PvP is more important than PvE, even though we are on a PvE server.
Are you planning to play some arenas yourself?
I'm planning to be a gladiator, my friend. Hey, what is this? What is this? Look, are you planning to play arena?
I mean, listen, mate. You know, I don't mean no disrespect at all.
Oh.
Zero disrespect.
Oh,
But you can't be a gladiator when you click on totem.
oh, what is
You can't be.
the level of disrespect right now?
Hey,
I
mate,
am, and okay. I do understand you. I do not agree with you, but I respect you, so it is what it is. I am not planning on being a gladiator on my shaman. Oh. I would be a gladiator on my priest, actually.
Okay. Well,
There's no totem. You haven't answered my question. I am the interviewer. You have to answer the question. Are you going to play PvP? Are you going to play arenas?
I'm going to play arenas.
Nice.
I'm definitely going.
Which bracket?
You know what?
Which bracket?
The top, of course. I think you know that Druid is a powerhouse of arena.
They are. Actually, they fucking are.
So you know what, Azuma? We once had a gentleman's bet in the past for 25 goals, I believe, that I have admittedly lost.
What was the bet? Can you
The bet-
can you like enlighten our chat right now? What was the bet?
I mean, if you have to take it there to boost it, sure. The bet was that I would out-heal you in a raid, which didn't take place, unfortunately. It was Okay's raid. Where we
Guys,
competed.
that really this will happen. A druid out-heal a shaman. Seriously.
Okay, I should have said outpass because that did happen, but that's all right. So what we can do is we can place a little bet of who's going to be high arena rating in TBC.
Oh, I like that. Okay, where are you going with that?
Well, I'm saying that I'm not entirely sure. That, you know, they're planning to release the arena season with Karazhan release. So I'll say end of season 1, which is where everybody's going to be PvPing. Let's see who ends up highest. And if you end up below me, I'd say that's a 200 gold.
Guys, the easiest 200 goal in my life. One thing though, is it 2v2, 3v3 or 5v5?
Let's say twos. I don't know what you're planning.
I was planning a 3v3 with my priest.
The threes.
Yeah. Do you have a 3v3 team? Or you only have a 2?
I don't have a 3v3 team, which is what the problem is really.
Okay, so you have a
So
2
I'm not
you
entirely
have a
sure.
2v2 team. Okay. So the rule would be the highest ranking, the highest bracket on the twos on the 2v2 team. This is what you are offering, and 200 goal. I mean, 200 goal in TBC. I mean, you kill 4 mob out of fucking Nagran, and you'll have 200 goal. I mean, sir? You have like the nice suit and everything. Do you have balls or you don't have balls? 200 goals, nothing.
What do you want it to be?
I don't know. 2,000 gold. We're starting to talk. Like
Fine, 2,000 gold. We're taking it up 10 times. 2,000 gold. Let's go.
you're a druid as well. The meta in 2v2 is actually a druid.
2,000 gold. Are you accepting the wager?
Of course, I am accepting. I'm gonna actually stump you, my friend. I'm sorry in advance. I like you, you know it. But I'm actually going to stump you. And yes, clip it. Of course, clip it.
Yeah, let's get some evidence going.
Let's get some evidence. And I really want to face you actually with your 2v2 team. Who's going to be your partner in the 2v2?
To be honest, I am not going to disclose that information to you because you might back down.
Hey, what is this? I'm not gonna back down.
I would like to keep that information private for now.
That is bullshit.
You're not gonna know my comp because I mean, as soon as you know the comp, you're out, mate. All of a sudden, you're transferring servers away. No 2K. I don't know what's
Do you know that this time around we will be able to have double the amount? Anyway, that's what they say in the announcement, right? BlizzConline not so long ago. That we will be able to have double the amount of players that the team requires. So if it's a 2v2, you're actually going to be able to have 4 players.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Because that was quite a strain back then, from my understanding. So it's pretty good. So worst comes to worst, Azuma, you can carry by 3 other teammates. if you...
Oh, I like that.
I know you're getting offers as we speak from the stream watchers to split half.
I already have my 2v2. Actually, I already have offer with my 2v2, and I'm going actually to tell you Keno Smash actually Keno Shino Rogue and Keno Smash is Warrior. He actually asked me to be his 2v2 partner. I'm probably going to accept. So you know who you will be facing.
Well, let's be honest, mate. If your survivability is on a similar level as yesterday's Molten Core, then I think I got the money in the market.
Molten Core was good. BWL was another story.
You're dying all the bloody time. What are you saying?
It's only for Softy asking. Yes, it's only for season 1. Guys, do you have any? Now is the time to ask your question. I saw a lot of good questions. First question that I'm going to ask, that the chat asked: why chose a druid, a healing druid, for the first Atish? That first healing druid being yourself.
Sorry, the cat is destroying the furniture. Why? Well, to be honest, I think Atiash in general, like myself, and I think the other officers as well, we don't exactly see it as necessarily best in slot. It's more of a symbol, status symbol sort of thing. You know what I mean? So, of course, if you think about it from the min-maxing point of view, then a major warlock should be taking the first one, really, just because the benefits of it is a lot better for the team. Although, to be honest, mana per 5 is not too bad in Burning Crusade as well, so it's actually not the worst, probably. Well, probably it is actually the worst, but we decided to view it as a symbol sort of thing instead of
a good follow-up question, I think, because you actually talk about the guy quite a few times tonight. Why not give it to a feral main tank?
Yeah, so something consanguinous actually, right? So for the second weapon, as a matter of fact, we did have a public vote. So we've picked 6 or 7 candidates, that 2 of which were druids actually. We decided to put it up to a vote for the guildies to decide, which ended up being a warlock actually.
Okay.
To be honest, I think the people maybe didn't necessarily want to see 2 druids having it. Maybe, I don't know. But it's pretty damn good as a feral druid weapon as well, from my understanding. I think it takes out the need for ferals to farm for the MCPs in Nomagan. I'm not sure 100%, but yeah, we let people decide, and they've decided otherwise, unfortunately. Sorry, Softy.
There was a really good question from Zogozan. The EGPG loot system. Can you briefly explain what it is? There's a lot of us, me myself, that don't understand the system. So can you put it as simply as you can put it? What does that system consist of, and how does loot is distributed within the game?
Yeah, so that to me is very natural to describe it, because every time we get a trial that doesn't understand the system, we have to summarize it for them. Okay, so FYG, my brother, hello. Yeah, no, so basically it stands for effort points and gear points, right? So every time you kill a boss, you get a certain amount of points. So the same way it works with DKP. And every single piece of gear has a set amount of gear points to it, right? So unlike DKP, you don't get those ridiculous bids of 5,000 DKP for a weapon or something, right? The weapon already has a set amount of points to it, right? So as I said, every time you get a boss kill, you get points. Every time you pick up a piece of gear, you get points as well. And basically, in order to determine who gets the next piece of loot, you take your EP points and you divide them by GP points. So the lower your GP is, the higher your priority is going to be, because the point of the system was to reward everybody before other people get 2 pieces of loot, right? So it's essentially made to be very equal to people. Yeah, so in Dark Reign, generally speaking, we're very much against hoarding, so we don't want people to hoard points. So every week we do have a 20% decay to both EP and GP. So what that ensures is that people that do actually spend points, gear points on items, their GP decays a lot faster than those who are holding on to them.
Oh, because the decaying much faster, they get more priority. Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, exactly. So it awards people that go for items.
Okay.
So that's the point of it.
So your raid leader, who I cannot pronounce his name, Ulejar. Ulejar. The more you raid and faster you take upgrades, the faster you get more loot. In a sense. Okay. So the more commitment the more commitment you show, the more raid you do, the more gear you have. As simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect. Anything else you want to add while we are waiting for chat? Chat, now's the time, huh? If you don't have question, cannot go further if you don't have question. Anything else you want to add for your all of experience, whole of classic experience so far? Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I think to start with, like, it's a really good experience. Honestly, it was something that I didn't really expect. Sorry, to happen. Really turned up where I am at the moment, going into TBC as well. But I think overall it was generally a positive experience. I think being in a position of Guildmaster officer, I think it really enhanced it, because although it does come with a lot of downsides, quite a lot of stress, in a lot of times, but it really did enhance the experience by having a lot more to do, a lot more to care about. Today, I've actually been asked by one of my friends, one of my IRL friends, why is it that you're not playing the game? Because every time you ask me, like, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing some setup or whatever, just not playing. And I say, well, I've got some preparation to do to certain raid or to something else. And to be honest, I do actually really quite enjoy that. What I don't personally enjoy is raiding. Really don't, if I have to do that. But I do really enjoy the pre-raid preparation. And in all fairness, I think being an officer is what made me still continue playing the game. It really encouraged me to continue going on it, because there's so much more to it than just playing the actual game. And to be honest, I'd like to add one more thing as well. So it's a little bit more about Mirage-Raceway as a server. I really do personally hope that in the Burning Crusade, either more people get sort of added onto the server, maybe from another PvE server that's kind of dying out or something, or more people from Alliance re-roll to Horde. Because I think the situation at the moment with recruitment is very slow, and it's very unfortunate in the terms of nowadays. If you do manage to pick up players into your guild, it's due to other guilds falling apart rather than sort of new players looking for a new home. So I'm really hoping for more players to flood into our server and TBC and have a lot more freedom to being able to sort of exchange the players in your team. Whilst at the moment, I think a lot of guilds encounter the problem of being stuck. A lot of players that they simply cannot necessarily, replace if it needs be in that sense. So I'm really hoping something like that to take place soon.
A good question. Which raid are you looking forward in TBC? Which one excites you the most?
Well, to be honest, I'm quite looking forward to Black Temple, because obviously it's one of the most iconic raids in TBC. Karazhan is going to be quite fun. I'm going to be quite useful by teleporting people to it with my shiny legendary staff. I think that's going to be a bit of fun. And Sunwell Plateau is one of the raids that I've never got to do in TBC, and ideally that's something that we're going to be able to accomplish as a guild.
So Black Temple more than Sunwell Plateau, actually?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, it's early on as well, isn't it? So
It is. No, but I think I'm with you on this. Black Temple, even though personally, I cleared Black Temple and not cleared Sunwell Plateau, I'm actually more anxious about BT than Sunwell Plateau. So I think I'm on with you on this. No, I'm not gonna do that, Twiz. I'm sorry. You can ask him yourself.
you can ask me. It's all right.
You sure? How do you feel about older women? You ask for it. You ask for it. It's a question from the chat. You said I can ask. There we go. It's one of your fans, actually.
One of my fans. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's something fair enough to give a response.
You came on camera. The good look came fresh and everything. Now you have fans.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I'm not a person to get away from a question. Well, I think, to be honest, older women, yeah, they're more experienced, of course. So naturally, that's quite good in itself. So, yeah, I'm all for it, really.
Thank you.
Can I ask a counter question?
You want to ask? I'll let you go.
What about you, Azuma?
My wife is actually younger than me. Not by a lot, but she's younger than me. So I'm married. I'm off the market, ladies. I'm sorry. This is what it is. And I love my wife.
That's fair.
Actually, I really love my wife. Guys, thank you very. Anything you want to add, Pop, to this really interesting story that you told, the Dark Reign story and your story, and Softy story, actually.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all of our story. Any guys from
Indeed.
Dark Reign,
Indeed.
watch, supporting. No, I just wanted to finalize it with saying a massive thank you to you, Azuma, personally, for inviting me over here to, of course, have Dark Reign as the third guild on Horde, even though I didn't necessarily get the KT third. A huge thanks to every single Dark Reign member that's currently in the chat supporting me, guys. Massive thank you. And not only for that, but for sticking around with guilds throughout all of the thick and thins of it. You know, third GM, countless officers, countless class leaders, etc. So massive thanks to that, and of course to my friends who came to support me as well. Thank you a lot, everybody, and yeah, I hope to see all of the lads and lasses in TBC / content like we do now, or maybe a little bit better, looking at our last week's raid. So yeah, thanks a lot for everybody here, and of course to all the other supporters of the stream, from Azuma, the non-guildies. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the lovely comments.
There was someone earlier that said, I don't remember who it was, but that said that even though you guys lost some players, they always come back for the good ambience, for talking to you guys, for playing other games, and so on and so forth. I can actually relate to that. I was never part of Dark Reign. I did one raid with you guys, and even up to this day, when I have the time, Friday night, play Among Us. I talk to you, I talk to Alexi, I talk to Darkriff, I talk to Softy. I watch Softy every week. I think from my perspective, I think this is really truly the case. You guys are amazing person. You are part of the people that makes, on the Horde side, that makes Mirage-Raceway a community, a good community. Never up to this day, never I saw or heard drama coming out of Dark Reign. So really, you are for me, you are part of the good side of the Mirage-Raceway. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Keep being Dark Reign. Keep being resilient. The server needs more player like you guys. All the people that I said, and the whole Dark Reign actually guild. Our server needs more of that.
Appreciate the kind word, mate. Appreciate the kind word.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for having spent the whole night with us. We actually 3 hours again. I mean, holy shit! Those 60-minute interview really goes to shit when we start talking and being in the gist of things. Next week, you want to know who's coming on next week? The number 4 guild to have killed KT, and I'm talking about Titans, and I'm talking about TNT. Will be our guest next week on the Ozu interview. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that has subbed. There's a lot of we'll go over it actually. Peter, Olejar, Radagas, DXRav, Fleshpound, Xexus, Legion, actually with the resub. Thank you very much. Twiz, Baz, Sam J, Slitty Boy, Lactose, Ivanka. I think that's a guild members of yours.
Amazing.
Say what?
It's one of our wrestler druids, yeah.
Nice. Neza, hey, I played Among Us with her.
For sure.
Melanozol, Stigs, Sneaky Spud, Plumsky, Aish, HS, Trundles, Toucon, Dark Riff with the resub, thank you very much. Random, a weird name, Kakapuli Paskamuma. I'm sorry, I probably massacre your name. Kragu. Thank you very much, every one of you. Thank you to have tuned in. Next week, like I said, it will be TNT from Titans. In the meanwhile, I will be back tomorrow.
So-
I will be back tomorrow for the usual next clear. And if you guys want to follow Dark Rain Endure Adventure, Softy is also streaming. I invite you to go follow as well Softy, to follow Dark Rain, the whole of Dark Rain, and actually Popcoin. You can see him in action with his Atish.
Sorry, just one more thing before we end it off. I just wanted to also say a huge thanks to my IRL mates, Dot Scout, who's recently became class leader. No nepotism, Mezzy. You know, the guy's been a massive part of why I'm still here. You know, we chill IRL quite frequently. We do some absolutely mad freestyles, raps. You know, top of the world lad, who's my only friend from IRL who still keeps on playing the game. So mate, Dot Scout, if you're still listening, Oscar mate, thanks for being here, bruv. And yeah, that's it.
Am I gonna have to re-invite you for you guys to do a little show, a private show for us?
No, to be honest, you know, the album is not being dropped just yet, so.
Okay. So I have to wait a little bit before I'm re-inviting you with the album. TBC. So you promise us like a freestyle, you and Dot Scout, a little rap freestyle?
There's no promise, but you know, if we win that arena sort of thing, then yeah, for sure.
You really think you're gonna win?
I mean, I'm ready.
It's good.
You better start right.
It's good to have dreams. Guys, on this, peace. We are out. It was really fun.